Wealthy CEO broke up with his pregnant girlfriend. Few years later, she returned with a kid, and also the judge overseeing his biggest case. Victoria's voice cut through the courtroom like ice. "You have exactly 30 seconds to explain why I should not hold you in contempt, Mr. Sterling." Marcus Sterling, the man worth $6 billion, the man whose face graced the covers of Forbes and Fortune, stood frozen at the defense table. His perfectly tailored suit suddenly felt like a prison. His mouth opened, but no words came out, because the woman on the bench, the woman in the black robes holding his entire empire in her hands, was the same woman he had walked out on 7 years ago. The same woman he had left pregnant and alone in a restaurant while he went to announce his engagement to someone else. "Your Honor, I did not realize." "You did not realize what? That I would amount to anything? That the woman you called disposable would one day hold the power to destroy everything you have built?" The courtroom had gone completely silent. Every attorney, every reporter, every spectator held their breath. "Victoria, please. That is Judge Reyes to you, Mr. Sterling. And you will address this court with the respect it deserves, or I will have you removed from your own trial." Marcus felt his legs weaken. 7 years. 7 years since he had seen those eyes, now cold where they had once been warm. 7 years since he had made the worst decision of his life. And the worst part? The worst part was not the case. It was not the $4.7 billion hanging in the balance. It was not even the criminal charges that could send his executives to prison. The worst part was the photograph he had seen on her desk when he had tried to speak with her earlier. A photograph of 2 children, a boy and a girl, both with his gray eyes, both the exact age they would be if… Oh God, what had he done? Have you ever faced the person who shattered your heart while they held your entire future in their hands? Have you ever watched someone who threw you away suddenly realize the magnitude of what they lost? What would you do if the man who abandoned you pregnant and alone was suddenly begging for mercy in your courtroom? Would you destroy him? Would you save him? Or would you show him the same cold indifference he once showed you? This is the story of a woman who was told she was not good enough, who was abandoned at her most vulnerable moment, who was left to raise 2 children alone while the man who fathered them married someone else. But this is also the story of what happens when that woman rises from the ashes, when she becomes more powerful than he ever imagined, when she holds his fate in her hands and has to decide whether justice means revenge or something far more complicated. Stay with me until the end, because what happens in this courtroom will change everything, not just for Marcus and Victoria, but for the 2 children who have never met their father and the secrets that have been buried for 7 years. If you believe that karma always finds its way, hit that subscribe button right now, because this story is proof that the universe has a very long memory. Let me take you back to where it all began. 7 years earlier, the restaurant did not have a sign outside. That was the first thing Victoria had noticed when Marcus brought her here for the first time, 3 years before this night. Only people who belonged knew where to find it. Only people with the right last names and the right bank accounts were allowed through the unmarked door. Victoria had felt so special back then, so chosen. The scholarship student from a working-class family, selected by one of the most powerful men in the city to share his world. She had been a fool. Tonight, sitting across from Marcus in their usual booth, she could feel something wrong in the air. He had asked her to dinner with an urgency that made her nervous. He had kissed her cheek when she arrived instead of her lips. He had ordered wine but barely touched his glass. "Marcus, whatever it is, just tell me. You are scaring me." He set down his glass with the careful precision of a man about to deliver bad news. His gray eyes, the ones she had fallen in love with, would not quite meet hers. "I wanted to tell you in person. I owe you that much." "Tell me what?" "My family has arranged a merger with the Ashford family. Their distribution networks in Asia are essential for our expansion plans." Victoria felt confusion before understanding. What does that have to do with us? "Gabrielle Ashford and I will be announcing our engagement by the end of the month." The words did not make sense at first. They floated in the air between them like a foreign language she had not yet learned to translate. "Engagement? We have been together for 3 years, Marcus. You told me you loved me. You said we would build a future together. I do care about you, Victoria, deeply. But you have to understand my position. Sterling Industries needs this alliance. This marriage secures everything my family has worked for. So I am what? A pleasant distraction until the right business opportunity came along? A placeholder until a woman with the right last name became available?" Marcus had the grace to look uncomfortable, but not uncomfortable enough, not devastated the way she was devastated, not shattered the way her heart was shattering. Do not be dramatic. We had something wonderful, but we both knew this could not last forever. You are a law student. I am expected to marry someone from our circle. Our circle. There it was. The truth he had never spoken aloud in 3 years, but had always believed. She was not part of his circle. She never had been. Her father who worked construction, her mother who still cleaned houses on weekends, her scholarship that paid her tuition because her family certainly could not. She had never been his girlfriend. She had been his charity case, his experiment in slumming, his temporary amusement before real life began. There is something you need to know, Victoria said, her voice steadier than she felt. Something that changes everything. Victoria, whatever it is, I am sure we can handle it appropriately. I will have my attorney contact you. We can arrange a settlement that ensures you are comfortable. I am pregnant. The word landed between them like a bomb. For one moment, one fraction of a second, she saw something flicker in his eyes. Surprise, maybe even something that looked like hope. Then, it was gone. Are you certain it is mine? The question hit her like a physical blow. 3 years of fidelity, 3 years of loving only him, 3 years of turning down every other man who showed interest because she thought Marcus Sterling was her future. And he was asking if the baby was his. How dare you? How dare you even ask me that question? Victoria, be reasonable. These situations can be complicated. People make claims all the time. I need to protect myself and my family. I have never been with anyone else. In 3 years, I have never so much as looked at another man. And you are asking me if this baby is yours? Marcus reached for his wine, took a long sip, and set the glass down with the same casual indifference he might show when reviewing a disappointing quarterly report. I will have my attorney contact you. We can cover any expenses, medical bills, living costs, whatever you need. You will be taken care of. I do not want to be taken care of. I do not want your money or your attorneys or your settlements. I want you to be a father to our child. I want you to love us the way you promised you would. What you want, Marcus said quietly, and what is possible are two very different things. I am going to be a husband to Gabrielle Ashford, and my family's legacy requires heirs of proper lineage. He stopped himself before finishing the sentence, but Victoria heard the unspoken words as clearly as if he had shouted them. Not children with someone like you. Proper lineage. As if their child was a horse being bred for racing. As if bloodlines and bank accounts were all that mattered. As if love and loyalty and 3 years of devotion meant nothing at all. Please leave, Victoria whispered. Victoria, let us discuss this rationally. Get out. Get out of my sight. Get out of my life. Marcus stood, straightening his tie with the same gesture he used after every negotiation. Every business meeting, every conversation he considered beneath him. I think that is for the best. My offer stands. The settlement will be generous. You will be comfortable. Comfortable. He was offering her comfort while destroying her world. You know what the worst part is, Marcus? The worst part is that I actually believed you. I believed that you were different. That you saw me as a person, not as a category. I believed that love could transcend all the things that were supposed to keep us apart. Love does not run companies, Victoria. Love does not secure distribution networks or satisfy board members or continue family legacies. Then I feel sorry for you, because love is the only thing that actually matters, and you are about to marry someone for business while throwing away everyone who ever truly loved you. Marcus paused at the edge of the table, and for just a moment, Victoria thought she saw regret in his eyes. Real, genuine regret. Then it was gone. Goodbye, Victoria. I wish you well. He walked out without looking back. She watched him go, watched the door close behind him, watched her entire future disappear with every step he took. The waiter approached tentatively, asking if she needed anything. Victoria shook her head, unable to speak. She sat there for almost an hour, alone in a restaurant full of people who would never know that a woman's heart was breaking at table 7. When she finally left, she walked past the valet who tried to call her a cab, past the luxury cars waiting for their wealthy owners, past the world that had never really wanted her in the first place. She walked until she found a bench in a small park 3 blocks away. And there, surrounded by strangers who did not know her name, Victoria allowed herself to cry. 3 days later, she saw the announcement in every newspaper on every society page, on every news website that covered the lives of the wealthy and powerful. Sterling Industries heir to wed Ashford heiress sin merger of the century. The photo showed Marcus and Gabrielle standing together at some exclusive event, her hand on his arm, both of them smiling for the cameras. Gabrielle was everything Victoria was not. Blonde where Victoria was dark. Society princess where Victoria was scholarship student. Old money where Victoria had no money at all. She read the article 3 times, searching for any sign that Marcus was unhappy, any indication that he regretted his choice. There was nothing, just quotes about business synergies and family connections and the bright future ahead. That was the night Victoria made a decision. She would not beg. She would not crawl back. She would not spend her life hoping that Marcus Sterling would change his mind. She would raise this child alone. She would build a life worth living. And she would never, ever let anyone make her feel worthless again. 1 week later, she went to the doctor for her first prenatal appointment. The ultrasound technician was a kind woman with gentle hands and a warm smile. "Let us take a look at your little one," the technician said, moving the wand across Victoria's belly. The screen flickered with gray and white shapes that slowly resolved into something recognizable. Victoria stared, trying to make sense of what she was seeing. The technician went very quiet. "Is something wrong?" Victoria's heart raced with sudden terror. "Is the baby okay?" "The babies are fine, Ms. Reyes." "Babies? What do you mean babies?" "You are carrying twins. A boy and a girl from what I can see." "Congratulations." Victoria stared at the screen, at the 2 tiny heartbeats pulsing in rhythm, at the 2 lives growing inside. Her that she had not expected and could not afford and absolutely could not imagine living without. Twins. Marcus Sterling, the man who wanted heirs of proper lineage, had fathered twins with the woman he considered beneath him, and he would never know. "Are you all right, dear?" The technician looked concerned. "Is there someone I should call?" "No." Victoria's voice was stronger than she expected. "No, there is no one to call. It is just me, just her, against the world, with 2 babies depending on her to figure out how to survive." The technician handed her printouts of the ultrasound, 2 tiny profiles already visible. Victoria looked at them for a long moment, then folded them carefully and placed them in her purse. She did not cry this time. She had done enough crying. Now it was time to fight. Her mother answered the phone on the 2nd ring. "Mija, what is wrong?" "I can hear it in your voice. Mama, I need help. I am pregnant, with twins, and he is gone. The father is gone." There was silence on the line for a long moment. Then her mother's voice, steady and sure. "Then you come home, or I come to you. Either way, we figure this out together. You are not alone, Victoria. You will never be alone." Those words, spoken by a woman who had spent her life cleaning other people's houses so her daughter could have opportunities she never had, meant more than any declaration of love Marcus Sterling had ever made. "You are not alone." Victoria held onto those words like a lifeline. She would need them in the months ahead. Law school while pregnant with twins was something Victoria would not wish on her worst enemy. Actually, she might wish it on Marcus, but that was beside the point. The morning sickness hit during constitutional law, the most important class in her 2nd-year curriculum. She learned to sit near the door so she could slip out without disrupting the lecture. She learned which bathrooms were closest to which classrooms. She learned to keep crackers in her bag and to eat small meals every 2 hours to keep the nausea at bay. Her professors noticed the changes. Some were sympathetic. Most were not. Professor Harmon, the constitutional law expert with 3 decades of teaching experience and 0 tolerance for excuses, pulled her aside after class one day when she was 6 months pregnant and barely fitting into her largest sweaters. "Miss Reyes, perhaps you should consider a leave of absence. Your condition makes it difficult for you to keep up with the rigorous demands of this program." "With all due respect, Professor, I have maintained a 3.8 GPA while working 2 jobs and carrying twins. I believe I can handle the rigorous demands just fine." He had looked at her with something between disapproval and grudging respect. "Very well, but do not expect any special accommodations. I have never expected anything special, Professor. I just expect the chance to prove myself." She proved herself. Week after week, month after month, she showed up. She studied between Braxton Hicks contractions. She wrote papers while her ankles swelled to twice their normal size. She sat for exams when she could barely fit behind the desk. And she did not just pass, She excelled. By the end of her second year, she was in the top 10% of her class, pregnant with twins, working 2 jobs, abandoned by the father of her children, and still in the top 10%. Let Marcus Sterling talk about proper lineage. Victoria was building her own legacy, one exhausting day at a time. Her mother arrived 2 months before the due date, leaving behind her small apartment and her cleaning clients, and the only life she had ever known. "Mama, you cannot just drop everything for me. What else is a mother for? You need me. The babies will need me. The rest can wait." Her mother converted the tiny second bedroom of Victoria's apartment into a nursery. 2 cribs, bought second-hand and lovingly restored. 2 mobiles, handmade from paper and string. 2 sets of everything, most of it donated or found at thrift stores. It was not the nursery that Gabrielle Ashford would have. There were no designer decorations or imported furniture or custom murals painted by famous artists. But it was made with love, and that was worth more than all the money in the world. The babies came early. 6 weeks early, to be exact. Victoria woke at 3 in the morning with pain like nothing she had ever experienced. Her mother called the ambulance while Victoria tried to breathe through contractions that came too fast and too hard. The hospital was a blur of bright lights and urgent voices and the overwhelming fear that something was wrong. "The babies are in distress. We need to perform an emergency cesarean section immediately." Victoria had never been so scared in her life. Not when Marcus left. Not when she saw the pregnancy test. Not when she learned she was carrying twins. Nothing compared to the terror of knowing her children were in danger, and there was nothing she could do but trust the strangers surrounding her. The surgery was a haze of drugs and pressure, and her mother's voice somewhere in the distance, praying in Spanish. Then, through the fog, a sound that changed everything. A baby crying. "You have a son," someone announced. "Strong lungs on this one." And moments later, another cry joined the first. "And a daughter. Both are breathing on their own. They are small, but they are fighters. Fighters. Of course they were fighters. They were her children." Victoria tried to see them, tried to lift her head, but the drugs made everything fuzzy and distant. She caught glimpses of tiny forms being whisked away by nurses, of incubators and monitors, and more machines than she could count. Where are they taking them? Are they okay? "They need some time in the NICU," the doctor explained. "Premature babies need extra care. But they are stable, Ms. Reyes. Your children are stable. Stable." It was not the same as healthy, not the same as perfect, but it was enough. For now, it was enough. Victoria named them that night, lying in her hospital bed, while her mother dozed in the chair beside her. Leonardo, for her father's father. The grandfather she had never met, who had crossed an ocean to give his family a better life. Leo, for short. A name that meant brave as a lion. Maya, for the ancient civilization that had achieved wonders against all odds, for the word that meant illusion. In Sanskrit, for the reminder that appearances can be deceiving and truth lies beneath the surface. Leo and Maya, her children, her miracles, her reasons for everything. The NICU days were the longest of Victoria's life. She spent every moment she was allowed at their bedsides talking to them through the plastic of their incubators, touching them through the holes designed for exactly that purpose. Leo was larger, louder, already demonstrating the stubborn determination that would define him. He pulled at his tubes and wires, fought the nurses who tried to adjust his monitors, cried with an indignation that seemed to say he was ready to take on the world if only they would let him out of this box. Maya was smaller, quieter, but her eyes followed everything. Even at just days old, she seemed to be absorbing the world around her, cataloging it, trying to understand. "You are going to be an artist," Victoria whispered to her daughter. "You are going to see things the rest of us miss. And you," she told her son, "you are going to lead armies, or companies, or movements. Whatever you choose, you are going to change the world." They came home after 4 weeks in the NICU. 4 weeks of learning to feed premature babies, of monitoring their breathing, of knowing every alarm and what it meant. Victoria's mother was waiting at the apartment with a meal cooked and the nursery ready, and the kind of calm competence that comes from raising 3 children on almost nothing. "Now," she said, taking Leo from Victoria's exhausted arms, "you sleep. I will take the first shift. Mama, I cannot ask you to. You are not asking. I am telling. Sleep now. The babies will still be here when you wake up, and you will need your strength." That first night, Victoria lay in her bed listening to the soft sounds of her mother singing lullabies in the next room. The same lullabies her mother had sung to her. The same songs passed down through generations, carrying love from one century to the next. She had done it. Against all odds, against everyone's expectations, she had brought 2 healthy children into the world. And now, somehow, she had to figure out how to raise them. Sleep came easier than she expected, brought on by exhaustion and relief, and the bone-deep knowledge that she was not facing this alone. Morning brought reality crashing back. 2 babies who needed to eat every 3 hours, diapers to change, laundry to do, and somehow, in the midst of all of it, law school to finish. Victoria returned to classes when Leo and Maya were 6 weeks old. Her mother stayed with the babies during the day while Victoria attended lectures and studied in the library between pumping sessions. At night, they traded off. Her mother slept while Victoria fed babies and changed diapers and tried to review case law while rocking a crying infant. "How did you do it, Mama?" Victoria asked one night at 3 in the morning, Maya finally asleep on her shoulder. "How did you raise 3 of us like this? I did not have twins, and I had your father, God rest his soul. But the truth, you just do it. You do not think about whether you can. You just do what needs to be done, and somehow it gets done. What if I fail? What if I cannot give them everything they need?" Her mother took Maya gently from Victoria's arms and laid her in the crib with practiced ease. "You will fail sometimes. Every mother does. But you will also succeed. And the love, Mia, the love never fails. They will know they are loved. That is the only thing that truly matters." Victoria graduated from law school when Leo and Maya were 2.5 years old. She walked across the stage in her cap and gown, looking out at the audience where her mother sat with a toddler on each knee. They clapped when her name was called. Both of them, tiny hands smacking together, not understanding why everyone was cheering, but wanting to be part of the celebration. Victoria caught her mother's eye and saw tears streaming down her face. Proud tears, joyful tears, the tears of a woman who had sacrificed everything so her daughter could have this moment. After the ceremony, Leo presented her with a flower he had picked from somewhere, probably someone's garden, slightly crushed from being clutched in his determined little fist. "For you, Mama, because you are the best." Maya, more reserved, pressed a kiss to Victoria's cheek and whispered, "I love you the most." "The most of what, baby girl?" "The most of everyone. More than anyone else loves anyone else. That is how much I love you." Victoria held her children close and thought of Marcus Sterling, who was probably at some society event right now with his proper wife and his proper life, never knowing that his children were celebrating their mother's graduation in a park outside a law school. His loss, his absolute, complete, devastating loss. The bar exam came next. 3 months of intensive study while working part-time at a small law firm and raising twins who had just discovered the word no and were using it constantly. Victoria took the exam on 2 hours of sleep, running on coffee and desperation and the absolute refusal to fail after coming so far. She passed on her first try. The law firm where she had been working part-time offered her a full-time position. It was not prestigious. The salary was modest. The cases were the ones no one else wanted to take, the clients no one else wanted to represent. But it was a start. Victoria threw herself into the work with the same determination she had brought to law school. She took on cases that other attorneys dismissed as unwinnable. She fought for clients who had been told they had no chance. And she won, not always, but often enough to get noticed. There was the case against the landlord, who was illegally evicting elderly tenants to convert their building to luxury condos. Victoria won, and the tenants stayed. There was the case against the employer who was stealing wages from immigrant workers too afraid to complain. Victoria won, and the workers got back pay plus damages. There was the case against the corporation that was dumping toxic waste in a poor neighborhood. Victoria won, and the cleanup began. Each victory built on the last. Each case brought new clients, new referrals, new opportunities. Within 3 years, Victoria had a reputation as someone who would fight for the underdog, who would not back down from powerful opponents, who would do whatever it took to achieve justice. It was during one of these cases that she caught the attention of Judge Harrison, a legendary figure on the commercial court bench. "I have been watching your work, Ms. Reyes," he said after a particularly contentious hearing. "You have a gift for cutting through complexity and finding the heart of the matter." "Thank you, Your Honor. Have you ever considered the judiciary?" Victoria had not. She had been so focused on surviving, on providing for her children, on proving herself one case at a time, that she had never thought about what came next. I am not sure I am qualified. You are more than qualified. You have intelligence, integrity, and something even more rare. You have perspective. You understand what is at stake for real people in these cases because you have been there yourself. It was not a promise, just a suggestion, but it planted a seed that grew over the following years. When Judge Harrison retired, he recommended Victoria for his position. The appointment process was grueling, filled with interviews and background checks, and the kind of scrutiny that made Victoria grateful she had nothing to hide. Well, almost nothing. There was the matter of her children's father, but no one asked about that, and she did not volunteer the information. At 35 years old, Victoria Reyes was appointed to the commercial court bench, one of the youngest judges in the state, one of the few women of color in that position, a single mother who had built her career from nothing. The newspapers ran profiles on her, interviews about her journey from law student to judge, photographs of her in her robes, looking serious and accomplished, and nothing, like the girl who had cried alone in a restaurant 7 years earlier. Marcus might have seen those articles. He might have seen her picture and wondered what had happened to the woman he left behind. Or he might have never noticed at all, too absorbed in his own world to pay attention to the accomplishments of someone he had dismissed as unimportant. Either way, it did not matter. Victoria had stopped caring about Marcus Sterling's opinion a long time ago. She had built a life worth living, raised 2 remarkable children, and earned her place through merit rather than pedigree. If karma ever decided to bring them face to face again, she would be ready. She just did not expect it to happen like this. If you are rooting for Victoria right now, if you believe that the people who underestimate us are the ones who fuel our greatest transformations, hit that like button and share this video with someone who needs to hear this story. But Victoria's rise was only half the story, because somewhere across the city, Marcus Sterling's perfect life was about to collide with her courtroom in ways neither of them could have predicted. Leo and Maya were 6 years old when their worlds changed forever. It was a Tuesday morning, ordinary in every way. Victoria had dropped them at school before heading to the courthouse, kissing each of them goodbye and reminding them to be good for their grandmother after school. "I love you the most," Maya whispered, their private ritual. "I love you more," Victoria replied, as she always did. Leo, ever practical, reminded her that he had a science presentation on Thursday and needed poster board and markers. "I will get them tonight, I promise." "The big markers, Mom. The really big ones. This is important. Only the biggest markers for my biggest guy." She watched them run into the building, backpacks bouncing, Maya already waving. At friends, Leo walking with the serious purpose of a child who had places to be. They were remarkable. Everyone said so. Teachers praised their intelligence, their creativity, their kindness. Other parents asked Victoria what her secret was, how she had raised such exceptional children while managing a demanding career. "The secret," Victoria always said, "is that I had no choice. When failure is not an option, you figure out how to succeed." But the real secret was simpler than that. The real secret was love. Unconditional, unwavering, fierce love that put those children at the center of everything. They did not have a father. They had something better. They had a mother who would burn the world down for them, and a grandmother who had given up her own life to help raise them. It was enough. It was more than enough. That Tuesday morning, Victoria walked into her courtroom to find a stack of files on her desk and a note from her clerk. New case assigned. Sterling Industries versus Wexler Technologies. High profile. Media attention expected. Victoria picked up the file and began to read. Sterling Industries. The name meant nothing to her at first, just another corporate case in an endless stream of corporate cases. Then she saw the name of the CEO and defendant, Marcus Sterling. The file dropped from her hands and scattered across her desk. 7 years. 7 years since she had seen that name anywhere, but in the occasional news article she refused to read. 7 years since he had walked out of her life without looking back. And now he was coming to her courtroom. Victoria sat down heavily in her chair, her heart pounding in a way it had not in years. She could recuse herself, should recuse herself. The conflict of interest was obvious to anyone who knew their history, but no one did know. She had never told anyone about Marcus. Not her colleagues, not her friends, not even Judge Harrison, who had mentored her. The only people who knew were her mother and the children themselves, and even the children did not know the full truth. Victoria had told them only that their father had made choices that meant he could not be part of their lives. She had never named him, never shown them pictures, never answered the inevitable questions with anything more than vague reassurances. "He loved us?" Maya had asked once, her artist soul seeking the emotional truth. "He did not know how to love us," Victoria had replied carefully. "Some people are not capable of the kind of love we need. It does not mean there is anything wrong with us. It means there was something missing in him." It was the kindest way she could frame the truth. The alternative, telling them that their father had considered them mistakes to be settled by attorneys, was too cruel to speak aloud. Now that father was about to appear before her in court, and Victoria had to decide what to do. She could recuse herself and let another judge handle the case. That was the safe choice, the professional choice, the choice that avoided any appearance of impropriety. Or she could stay on the case and face him directly, show him what she had become. Let him see that the woman he had dismissed as not good enough had risen to a position where she controlled his fate. The thought was tempting, more than tempting. After 7 years of wondering if he ever thought about her, of wondering if he regretted his choice, of wondering if karma would ever catch up with him, here was her answer. But Victoria had not become a respected judge by making decisions based on petty revenge. She had built her reputation on fairness, on impartiality, on the principle that justice was blind to personal feelings. She picked up the phone to call the chief judge's office, ready to request reassignment. Then she put it down again. If she recused herself, she would have to explain why. The conflict of interest would become public. People would dig into her past, find the connection to Marcus, discover the children. Her private life would become tabloid fodder. More importantly, Leo and Maya would learn the truth in the worst possible way. Not from their mother, in a careful conversation designed to protect their hearts, but from news reports and gossip and the cruelty of classmates who had seen it online. That could not happen. She would not let that happen. Victoria picked up the file again and read through it carefully. The case was straightforward corporate litigation. Sterling Industries was accused of illegal market manipulation during a hostile takeover attempt. The evidence would determine the outcome, not her personal feelings. She could do this. She had to do this. Marcus Sterling was coming to her courtroom, but he was coming as a defendant, not as the man who had broken her heart. And she would treat him exactly as she treated every other defendant who appeared before her, fairly, impartially, and with complete professional detachment. At least that was the plan. The morning of the first hearing arrived with a clarity that felt almost cruel. Sunshine streamed through the courthouse windows as Victoria reviewed her notes one final time, trying to ignore the churning in her stomach. She had not felt this nervous before a case since her very first trial as a new attorney. Back then, the nerves had been about inexperience, about fear of making a mistake in front of a judge. Now the nerves were about something far more personal. All rise for the Honorable Judge Victoria Reyes. She entered the courtroom as she always did, with purposeful strides, and a calm expression that revealed nothing of her inner turmoil. The room was packed. Attorneys at both tables, reporters in the gallery, spectators filling every seat. And there, at the defense table, sat Marcus Sterling. 7 years had changed him. There was silver in his dark hair now, lines around his eyes that had not been there before. He looked tired in a way that expensive suits could not hide, worn down by something that all his money could not fix. But he was still handsome, still commanding, still the man who had once made her believe in fairy tales before teaching her that. Fairy tales were lies told to keep people hoping for things that would never happen. Victoria took her seat at the bench and forced herself to look at him directly. Professional detachment, complete impartiality. "Good morning. We are here in the matter of Wexler Technologies versus Sterling Industries. I have reviewed the preliminary filings. Are both parties ready to proceed?" The plaintiff's attorney stood. "Yes, Your Honor." Delilah Morrison for Wexler Technologies. The defense attorney rose next. "Yes, Your Honor." Richard Ashworth for Sterling Industries. Ashworth. Victoria wondered if he was related to the Ashfords, if Marcus's world was. So small that everyone in it was connected by blood or business, or both. It did not matter. Focus on the case. Very well. Ms. Morrison, you may begin with your opening statement. The hearing proceeded normally for the first hour. Opening statements, preliminary motions, scheduling matters. Victoria asked questions and made rulings and did everything a judge was supposed to do. But she could feel Marcus watching her. Every time she looked toward the defense table, His eyes were fixed on her face with an intensity that made her skin prickle. He knew. He had figured it out. Maybe he had known all along, or maybe recognition was dawning slowly. But either way, he knew exactly who was sitting on this bench. The confrontation came during the lunch recess. Victoria was in her chambers, reviewing documents and trying to eat a sandwich she had no appetite for when her clerk announced an unexpected visitor. "Mr. Sterling is requesting a moment of your time, Your Honor. He says it is urgent." Victoria's heart stopped. She should refuse. She absolutely should refuse. Send him in. The door opened, and there he was, standing in her office, looking at her with an expression she could not read. "Hello, Victoria. Judge Reyes. And this is highly inappropriate, Mr. Sterling. We are in the middle of litigation. I know. I do not care." He moved closer, studying her face as if trying to reconcile what he was seeing with what he remembered. "It is really you. You became a judge. You are presiding over my case. The universe has an interesting sense of humor. Victoria, I need to say something to you. You said everything you needed to say 7 years ago. You were very clear about my inadequacies. I was wrong." The admission hung in the air between them. 2 words that might have changed everything if they had come 7 years earlier. 2 words that meant almost nothing now. "Yes," Victoria said quietly. "You were. I made the biggest mistake of my life that night. I have regretted it every day since. And yet, here you are, still wealthy, still powerful, still running your empire. Your regret does not seem to have cost you much. It has cost me more than you know." Victoria stood and moved toward the window, putting distance between them. "What do you want, Marcus? Why are you really here?" "I want to know what happened. After I left. After—" He paused, and she could hear him struggling. "What happened to the baby?" The question hit her like a blow. She had known it would come eventually, but she was not prepared for the emotion that flooded through her. "You do not get to ask me that. Please, Victoria. I have thought about it every day for 7 years. Did you— I need to know. Did I what? End the pregnancy because it was inconvenient? The way you would have wanted me to? That is not— I gave birth to twins, Marcus." She turned to face him, and the look on his face was almost worth 7 years of struggle. Shock, disbelief, the dawning realization of everything he had lost. Twins, a boy and a girl. Leo and Maya. They are 6 years old now. They are brilliant and beautiful, and they have never met their father because their father walked away before they were born. I did not know. Victoria, I did not know there were 2 of them. I did not know you kept them. You did not want to know. You offered to throw money at the problem and walked away. You never once checked on me. Never once reached out. Never once considered that maybe you had responsibilities beyond your precious merger. Marcus looked like he might collapse. Good. Let him feel a fraction of what she had felt alone in that restaurant. "I have children. I have 2 children I have never met. You have DNA in 2 children you have never met. Having them, raising them, being their parent. That was all me. For 6 years, I did everything alone while you built your empire and married your proper wife and lived your proper life. Gabrielle and I are divorced. We have been divorced for 4 years." Victoria laughed bitterly. "So the merger did not work out. The distribution networks were not worth destroying my life for. It was never worth it. I knew it the moment I walked away from you, but I was too proud and too stupid to admit it. Your regret is not my problem, Marcus. And this conversation is over. We both need to get back to court. Victoria, please. I need to meet them. I need to know my children. They are not your children. They are mine. I raised them. I sacrificed for them. I was there for every nightmare and every birthday and every first day of school. You contributed biology, nothing more. I want the chance to be more than that. It is too late. It is 7 years too late." She opened the door, signaling the end of their conversation. Marcus walked toward it slowly, like a man walking to his own execution. "This is not over," he said quietly as he passed her. "The case will proceed according to schedule. Whatever personal history exists between us is irrelevant to the legal matters at hand. I am not talking about the case. I am talking about us, about our children. There is no us. There never was, according to you. I was just someone from outside your circle, remember?" Victoria closed the door behind him and stood there for a long moment, her heart pounding, her hands shaking. She had done it. She had faced him. She had told him the truth, and she had not fallen apart. But the hardest part was still to come, because now Marcus Sterling knew he had children, and Victoria knew he well enough to understand that he would not simply walk away from that knowledge. The afternoon session of the trial resumed with a tension that everyone in the courtroom could feel but no one could explain. Victoria sat on the bench, her expression perfectly neutral, her hands steady as she reviewed documents and made rulings. But inside, her mind was racing through every possible consequence of the conversation that had just taken place. Marcus knew about the children. After 7 years of secrecy, 7 years of careful protection, 7 years of answering difficult questions with vague explanations, he knew. And she had seen the look in his eyes when she told him. Not just shock, something deeper, something that looked almost like grief. It did not matter. His grief was not her responsibility. His regret could not undo the years he had missed, or the struggles she had faced alone. "Your Honor?" Victoria realized the plaintiff's attorney had been speaking to her. She had no idea what had been said. "I apologize. Counselor, could you repeat that last point?" Ms. Morrison looked concerned, but repeated her argument about evidence admissibility. Victoria forced herself to focus, to push aside everything personal and concentrate on the law. The case itself was becoming more complicated than the initial filings had suggested. Evidence was emerging that painted a troubling picture of Sterling Industries' practices. But it was not clear how much Marcus himself had known about the illegal activities. Witness testimony suggested that key executives had deliberately kept him in the dark, making decisions without his approval and hiding the paper trail that would have alerted him to problems. It was possible, Victoria realized with reluctant fairness, that Marcus was as much a victim of his own company as the plaintiffs were. That did not excuse what he had done to her personally, but it might affect the legal outcome of this case. The hearing adjourned at 5 o'clock, and Victoria retreated to her chambers to gather her things. She needed to get home to the children, to hold them close, to remind herself of why she had built such careful walls around their lives. Her phone buzzed with a text from her mother. "Children are fed and doing homework. Leo says to remind you about the poster board. Maya made you a painting. Come home when you can." Victoria smiled despite everything. Her mother was a rock, steady and reliable in ways that no one else in her life had ever been. She gathered her briefcase and headed for the parking garage, her mind already shifting to the evening ahead. Dinner with the kids, help with homework, the bedtime rituals that had anchored their family for 6 years. She did not expect to find Marcus Sterling waiting by her car. "This is stalking," Victoria said flatly. "I could have you arrested. I know. I will leave if you want me to. But I need to ask you something first. You have asked enough questions for one day. Just one more. Please." There was something in his voice that stopped her. Not arrogance, not entitlement, not the confident assumption that he could get whatever he wanted. Something that sounded almost like humility. "What? What are their names?" "You said Leo and Maya, but I want to hear it again. I want to know my children's names." Victoria studied his face in the dim light of the parking garage. He looked like a man who had been hit by a truck and was still trying to understand what had happened. "Leonardo and Maya. Leo is named after my grandfather. Maya means illusion in Sanskrit." I wanted to remind her that truth lies beneath the surface. They sound beautiful. They are. They are the most beautiful, brilliant, remarkable people I have ever known. And they have grown up just fine without you. I do not doubt that. You have obviously done an incredible job. The compliment surprised her. Marcus Sterling complimenting anyone for anything that did not benefit him directly was not something she had ever witnessed. "What do you want, Marcus?" "Really? I want the chance to know them. I know I do not deserve it. I know I have no rights here. But Victoria, they are my children. Half of who they are came from me. And I have missed 6 years of their lives because I was too stupid and too proud to do the right thing. You are right. You do not deserve it. And they are doing fine without you. Are they? Or are they wondering why their father is not there like other kids' fathers are?" The question hit too close to home. Victoria thought of all the times Leo had asked why he did not have a dad to play catch with. All the times Maya had wanted to know if her father loved her. All the careful answers she had given that were true but not complete. "That is none of your business. Everything about them is my business. I am their father. You are a sperm donor who walked away. Fatherhood is more than biology. It is showing up day after day, year after year. It is being there for the hard parts, not just the convenient ones. Then let me start showing up. Let me start being there. Victoria shook her head. You do not get to waltz back into their lives because it is suddenly convenient for you. They have stability. They have routine. They have a life that does not include you. And what happens when they get older and start asking harder questions? What happens when they want to know why their father was not there? What will you tell them then? I will tell them the truth, that their father made choices that prioritized his business over his family, that he was not capable of being what they needed. But I am capable now. I have changed. Have you? Because from where I am standing, you still look like the same man who walked away from me in that restaurant. The same man who questioned whether his own child was really his. The same man who offered to write a check and make the problem disappear. I am not that man anymore. I have spent 7 years regretting every word I said that night, every choice I made, everything I threw away because I was too blind to see what really mattered. Your regret does not erase the damage you caused, I know, but maybe it can be the foundation for something better. Victoria unlocked her car and opened the door, signaling that this conversation was over. Stay away from my children, Marcus. If I see you anywhere near them, I will use every legal tool at my disposal to keep you away permanently. She got in the car and drove away, watching in the rearview mirror as Marcus stood, alone in the parking garage, looking more defeated than she had ever seen him. Part of her felt satisfied by that image. Let him feel what she had felt. Let him understand what it meant to be powerless. But another part of her, a part she did not want to acknowledge, wondered if she was being fair. The children did deserve to know their father. They did deserve answers to the questions that had haunted them for years. But they also deserved protection from someone who might hurt them. And Victoria was not convinced that Marcus Sterling had really changed. People like him did not change. They just got better at hiding who they really were. That evening, Victoria sat at the kitchen table with Leo and Maya, helping them with homework while her mother cleaned up after dinner. "Mom, you seem distracted tonight," Leo observed with his characteristic directness. "Did something happen at work? Just a complicated case. Nothing for you to worry about. Is it the case with the billionaire?" Maya asked. "Grandma showed us the news. She said you were the judge for a really important trial." Victoria shot her mother a look. Her mother shrugged apologetically. "Yes, it is that case, but I cannot talk about it. Judges are not supposed to discuss their cases with anyone, even their kids, especially their kids. I have to be completely fair and impartial, and that means not sharing details with anyone who might have opinions about it." Leo considered this with the seriousness of a child who would one day make an excellent lawyer or CEO, or both. "That makes sense, but you still seem sad. Not just distracted, sad." "I am fine, sweetheart. Just tired." Maya set down her pencil and looked at her mother with those gray eyes that saw everything. "Mom, can I ask you something about our dad?" Victoria's heart stopped. Of all the nights for this question to come up, "What do you want to know?" "We have been talking about it at school. There is a project about family trees and everyone has to draw their whole family. I do not know what to put for the dad part. You can put that you have a grandmother and a mother who love you very much. Family is about the people who are there for you, not about filling in every branch of a tree. But everyone else has a dad branch. Even if their parents are divorced, they still have a dad. We do not have anyone." Victoria reached across the table and took Maya's hand. "Your father exists. He is a real person, somewhere in the world. But he made choices that meant he could not be part of our lives. That is not your fault, and it is not something wrong with you. It is something that was wrong with him." "Is he dead?" Leo asked bluntly. "No, he is alive." "Does he know about us?" Victoria hesitated. This was the question she had been dreading for 6 years. The one she did not know how to answer without either lying or causing pain. He knows now. Both children sat up straighter, their homework forgotten. "What do you mean, he knows now?" Maya demanded. "Did you tell him?" "It is complicated, sweetheart. He and I had not spoken in a very long time. But recently, our paths crossed, and he learned about you. Does he want to meet us?" Leo's voice was carefully neutral, but Victoria could hear the hope underneath. "I do not know what he wants. And even if he does want to meet you, that does not mean it would be a good idea." "Why not?" "Because he hurt me very badly a long time ago, and I am not sure I trust him not to hurt you." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "But what if he has changed? What if he is sorry for hurting you?" "People do not usually change, Maya. Not really. But you always tell us that people can grow and become better, if they try hard enough. That is what you said when Leo was mean to that kid in second grade and had to apologize. That is different. How is it different? Victoria did not have a good answer. Because it was different. Leo being mean to a classmate was not the same as Marcus walking out on a pregnant woman and never looking back. But to a 6-year-old, the logic was the same. If people could change, then everyone deserved the chance to prove it. Can we at least meet him once? Leo asked. Just to see what he is like. I need to think about it. This is a very big decision, and I need to make sure it is the right thing for all of us. Okay, Leo said, accepting this with surprising maturity. But Mom, if he wants to meet us, and he is not going to be mean to you, I think we should give him a chance. Everyone deserves a chance. Victoria looked at her son, so wise beyond his years, and felt her heart crack open just a little. When did you get so grown up? I have been 6 for almost 3 months now. That is a lot of time to get mature. Despite everything, Victoria laughed. And Maya laughed too, and soon all 3 of them were laughing together, the tension of the conversation momentarily broken. But the question lingered in the air after the children went to bed. Should she give Marcus a chance? Did he deserve one? And even if he did, could she survive watching him potentially hurt her children the way he had hurt her? She sat alone in the living room, staring at the family photos on the wall. Leo as a baby, screaming in the NICU. Maya's first steps, captured by her grandmother's ancient phone camera. Birthday parties and holidays and first days of school. A complete record of their lives without any trace of the man who had helped create them. Her mother came in and sat beside her. The children are asking harder questions now. I know, Mama. I heard. What are you going to do? I do not know. Part of me wants to keep him away forever. To protect them from the disappointment of having a father who cannot be what they need. And the other part? The other part remembers what it was like to grow up without a father, to have questions that never got answered, to wonder if I was the reason he left. Victoria's father had died when she was young, so the situations were not exactly parallel, but she understood the weight of absence, the shape of the hole that a missing parent left in a child's heart. He hurt you badly, Mia. He did. And you think he could hurt them too? I think it is possible. But keeping them from knowing him at all, that is also a kind of hurt. Victoria turned to look at her mother, surprised by this perspective. You think I should let him meet them? I think you should consider it carefully. Not for his sake, for theirs. They are old enough now to have questions that deserve real answers. And if he has truly changed, if he is willing to do the work, then maybe they deserve the chance to know their father. And if he hurts them, then you will be there to help them heal, the way you have always been there, the way you always will be. Victoria leaned into her mother's embrace, feeling like a child herself again. I do not know if I can trust him. You do not have to trust him. You just have to watch him, make him prove himself, set conditions and boundaries and consequences. If he really wants to know his children, he will accept whatever terms you set. And if he does not, then you will have your answer, and the children will understand that you gave him a fair chance. It was wise advice, the kind of wisdom that came from a lifetime of experience and sacrifice. Victoria's mother had never had much education or money, but she had more common sense than anyone Victoria had ever known. I will think about it, Victoria said finally, but I am not making any decisions tonight. That is fair. Sleep on it. Things often look different in the morning, but things did not look different in the morning. They looked more complicated. Victoria arrived at the courthouse to find a letter waiting on her desk, hand-delivered, according to her clerk, from Marcus Sterling. She almost threw it away without reading it, but curiosity got the better of her, and she opened the envelope. Dear Victoria, I know I have no right to ask for anything from you. I threw away every right when I walked out of that restaurant 7 years ago, when I questioned whether our child was mine, when I chose a business merger over the family I could have had. I was a coward. I was a fool. And I have spent every day since then paying for that choice, even if you could not see it. My marriage to Gabrielle was a disaster from the beginning. We never loved each other. It was exactly what you said it was, a business arrangement masquerading as a relationship. She had affairs. I buried myself in work. We divorced after 4 years of mutual misery. I do not tell you this to make you feel sorry for me. I tell you this so you understand that I have already been punished for my choices. The life I chose instead of you was hollow and empty and everything I deserved. But finding out about Leo and Maya has changed something in me. For the first time in years, I feel like there is a reason to be better. A reason to become the man I should have been all along. I am not asking you to forgive me. I am not sure I can ever be forgiven for what I did, but I am asking for a chance. One chance to prove that I can be something more than the man who walked away. One meeting with my children, supervised, controlled, whatever conditions you want to set. If I fail, if I disappoint them or hurt them in any way, I will walk away forever. I will sign whatever legal documents you want, give up whatever rights I might have, disappear completely from their lives. But if there is any chance, any possibility that I could be a father to them, I want to try. Not because I deserve it, but because they deserve to know where they came from. They deserve answers to the questions I know they must be asking. Please, Victoria, I know I am asking for more than I have any right to ask, but I am asking anyway. Marcus. Victoria read the letter 3 times, searching for manipulation, for insincerity, for any sign that this was just another game he was playing. She could not find one. The letter felt genuine, in a way that nothing Marcus had ever said to her before had felt genuine. But words on paper meant nothing. Actions were what mattered. And Marcus Sterling had a long history of saying beautiful things while doing terrible ones. She set the letter aside and tried to focus on her work, but the words kept echoing in her mind throughout the day. They deserve to know where they came from. They deserve answers to the questions I know they must be asking. He was right about that, at least. Leo and Maya did deserve answers, and Victoria was running out of ways to avoid giving them. The trial continued for another week, each day bringing new evidence and new complications. The picture that emerged was not the simple story of corporate villainy that the plaintiffs had hoped to tell. Yes, Sterling Industries had engaged in questionable practices. Yes, laws had been broken and competitors had been harmed. But the evidence consistently pointed to a small group of executives who had operated without Marcus's knowledge or approval. Internal emails showed them deliberately hiding information from him. Meeting notes revealed discussions about keeping the boss in the dark. One particularly damning exchange showed the CFO telling a colleague that Marcus was too ethical to approve of their plans, so they would simply not tell him. Too ethical. The words stuck with Victoria. The Marcus she had known was many things, but ethical was not a word she would have used to describe him. Maybe he really had changed. Maybe the 7 years since their breakup had transformed him into someone different. Or maybe he was just better at hiding his true nature. The trial reached its climax with Marcus himself taking the witness stand. Victoria watched him swear to tell the truth and wondered if he was even capable of it. "Mr. Sterling," the plaintiff's attorney began, "you expect us to believe that as CEO of Sterling Industries, you had no idea that your own executives were engaged in illegal market manipulation? I expect you to look at the evidence," Marcus replied calmly. "Every email, every document, every meeting note shows that information was deliberately kept from me. I cannot be responsible for what I did not know, but it was your company, your responsibility to know what was happening. You are absolutely right, and I take responsibility for not having better oversight, for not asking harder questions, for trusting people who should not have been trusted. But there is a difference between failure of oversight and active participation in wrongdoing." Victoria watched him closely, looking for any sign of deception. He seemed genuine, humble even, a far cry from the arrogant man who had told her that love was not enough. The questioning continued for hours, probing every detail of his involvement in the company's activities. Marcus answered each question directly, admitting mistakes where he had made them, defending himself only where the evidence supported his defense. By the end, even Victoria had to admit that he had handled himself well. Not perfectly, but honestly, like a man who had learned the hard way that deception always came back to haunt you. The trial ended, and Victoria retreated to her chambers to consider her verdict. The evidence was clear enough. Sterling Industries had violated the law and would face significant penalties. But Marcus personally had not been involved in the wrongdoing and would not face criminal charges. It was the right decision, the fair decision, the one the evidence supported. But as Victoria wrote her verdict, she found herself thinking about the man behind the case, the man who had written her that letter, the man who wanted to meet his children. She made her decision somewhere between the legal analysis and the final conclusions. She would give him a chance, one chance, with strict conditions and careful supervision and the understanding that she could end it at any moment, not because he deserved it, but because Leo and Maya did. The call came that evening. "Marcus, it is Victoria. Do not get excited. I am not calling to forgive you or to tell you everything is okay. I am calling because my children are asking questions I cannot answer, and they deserve the truth. I understand. Whatever you need, one meeting, in a public place, I will be there the entire time. You will tell them who you are, and you will answer their questions honestly. If you lie to them, if you disappoint them, if you do anything that makes me think you are going to hurt them, it is over, forever. Do you understand? Completely. I will do whatever you say. And Marcus, this is not about you and me. There is no us. There never will be again. This is only about giving my children the chance to know where they came from. I understand. Good. I will text you the details. She ended the call before he could say anything else. Her hands were shaking. What had she just done? The meeting was set for Saturday afternoon at the park near Victoria's house. Neutral territory, public space, easy exits if things went badly. Victoria spent the days leading up to it trying to prepare the children for what was about to happen. The man we are going to meet on Saturday, she told them carefully, is your biological father. Maya's eyes went wide. You mean we are actually going to meet him? Yes, he knows about you now, and he wants to meet you. But I want you to understand some things first. Like what? Leo asked. Like the fact that this might be the only time you see him. I do not know if he is going to be a part of your lives going forward. That depends on a lot of things, like whether he is a good person, like whether he can be trusted, whether he is going to show up when he says he will, whether he can be the kind of father you deserve. What if he cannot? Maya asked quietly. Then we go back to our regular lives, and we have each other, and that is more than enough. The children exchanged one of their twin looks, the silent communication that Victoria had never quite learned to interpret. Okay, Leo said finally, we will meet him. But if he is mean to you, Mom, we are leaving. If he is mean to me, we are definitely leaving. Saturday arrived too quickly and not quickly enough. Victoria dressed the children in their nicest casual clothes and tried not to let her nerves show. You look pretty, Mom, Maya said. Is that a new dress? It is not new. I just have not worn it in a while. She had bought the dress years ago, back when she was first appointed to the bench. It was professional but feminine, confident but not aggressive, perfect for making an impression. She was not trying to impress Marcus. She was just trying to feel strong. They arrived at the park to find Marcus already waiting at a picnic table near the playground. He stood when he saw them, and Victoria could see the nervousness in every line of his body. Good. Let him be nervous. Let him understand what was at stake. Leo and Maya walked on either side of her, their hands clasped in hers. They were quiet, assessing the stranger who was about to become real in a way he had never been before. Marcus looked at his children for the first time, and Victoria watched his face crumble. Tears, actual tears in the eyes of a man she had never seen cry. He blinked them back, but she had seen them. Hello, he said, his voice rough. I am Marcus. We know who you are, Leo said with characteristic directness. You are our biological father. Yes, I am. Why did you leave our mom? The question hung in the air. Victoria had not coached the children on what to ask or say. She had wanted their reactions to be genuine. Marcus took a deep breath before answering. Because I made the worst mistake of my life. I was scared and selfish, and I cared more about what other people thought than about what was right. I hurt your mother very badly, and I missed the chance to know both of you. It is the biggest regret I have. Mom says you could not be part of our lives, Maya said. What does that mean? It means I made choices that took me in a different direction. I did not fight for your mother when I should have. I did not stay and work things out. I walked away, and by the time I realized what I had done, it was too late. Is it still too late? The question came from Leo, and it was not hostile. It was genuinely curious. A child trying to understand if the door was still closed or if it might be opening. Marcus looked at Victoria before answering. That is up to your mother, and up to you. I want to be part of your lives if you will let me. But I understand if you do not want that. I understand if you need more time. What would being part of our lives look like? Leo asked. Would you come to our school things? Would you help with homework? I would do all of that. Anything you wanted me to do. I would show up whenever you needed me. Dad do that, Maya said quietly. In the movies, dads do that. I want to be that kind of dad. If you will give me the chance. The conversation continued for over an hour. Marcus answered every question the children asked. About his childhood, his work, his hobbies, his regrets. He was patient and honest, and nothing like the man Victoria remembered. Either he had genuinely changed, or he was the greatest actor she had ever seen. By the end of the meeting, Maya had shown him her sketchbook, and Leo had outlined his plans for a future business empire. They were connecting with him in ways that made Victoria's heart ache. "Can he come to my science fair next month?" Leo asked as they prepared to leave. "I am building a volcano, and it is going to be really impressive." Victoria hesitated. One meeting was what she had agreed to, one supervised encounter, but looking at her children's faces, at the hope in their eyes, she found herself nodding. "We will see. If today went well, we can talk about future visits." "It went well," Maya said firmly. "He listened when we talked. He did not pretend to be interested. He really was interested." "That is a good sign," Victoria admitted. They said goodbye to Marcus, Maya with an impulsive hug that clearly surprised him, Leo with a formal handshake that made Victoria smile despite herself. "Thank you," Marcus said to her quietly as the children walked toward the car. "Thank you for giving me this chance. Do not thank me yet." This was one meeting. Everything that happens next depends on you. I will not let you down. I will not let them down. We will see. But as she drove home with her chattering children in the back seat, Victoria felt something she had not expected to feel. Hope. If you've been waiting for this moment, if you wanted Victoria to give Marcus a chance to prove himself, hit that like button right now. But the story is not over yet, because earning forgiveness is much harder than asking for it. And Marcus, Sterling was about to learn just how much work redemption really requires. The weeks that followed were a test of everything Marcus had promised. He came to Leo's science fair and sat in the audience like every other parent, cheering when the volcano erupted with impressive force. He attended Maya's art show and listened with genuine interest as she explained the emotional meaning behind each painting. He showed up for every event Victoria allowed him to attend, never late, never distracted, never giving her a reason to reconsider. "You are different," Victoria admitted one evening after the children had gone to bed. They had fallen into a routine of brief conversations when he came to pick up or drop off the kids, exchanging information about schedules and needs. "I told you I had changed. Telling and showing are different things. You are showing. I am trying. It is the only thing that matters to me now." "What about your company? What about the trial?" The trial was over. Victoria had delivered her verdict, a split decision that held Sterling Industries accountable, while acknowledging that Marcus personally had not participated in the wrongdoing. The company was paying substantial damages. Several executives were facing criminal charges, but Marcus himself was moving forward. "The company will survive. It is not my priority anymore. Leo and Maya are my priority. Becoming the father they deserve is my priority." "And what about Gabrielle? I heard she was contesting something in your divorce settlement. She wanted more money. We settled it. She is out of my life completely now." Victoria nodded, processing this information. "The children like you. They look forward to seeing you. That means more to me than anything else ever has. But liking you and trusting you are different things. They are still getting to know you, and I am still watching. I expect nothing less." They stood in her doorway, the strange intimacy of co-parenting creating a connection neither of them had anticipated. "Victoria, can I ask you something?" "What?" "Do you think you could ever forgive me? Not now, not soon, but someday?" The question surprised her. She had been so focused on the children, on their needs and their feelings that she had not thought much about her own. "I do not know," she said honestly. "What you did, how you left, the things you said, they changed me. They shaped who I became, and the person I became is someone I am proud of. But the pain of how I got here is not something that goes away just because you are sorry. I understand. Do you? Because forgiveness is not something you can earn by showing up for a few weeks. It is not a transaction where you put in effort and get absolution in return. I know. I am not asking you to forgive me on a schedule. I am asking if you think it is possible. Someday, after I have proven myself over years, not weeks." Victoria looked at this man who had once been the center of her universe and then the source of her greatest pain. He was different now. She could see it. But different did not mean trustworthy. Different did not mean safe. "Maybe," she said finally, "if you keep being who you are now, if you never go back to who you were, maybe someday I could forgive you. That is more than I deserve." "Yes, it is." She closed the door, and Marcus walked back to his car, but something had shifted between them. The walls were still there, but they were not as high as they had been. Months passed. Seasons changed. Marcus became a fixture in Leo and Maya's lives, as constant and reliable as Victoria herself. He learned Leo's obsession with efficiency and business strategy, spending hours discussing entrepreneurship and innovation with a child who understood more than most adults. He discovered Maya's artistic soul, taking her to museums and galleries, encouraging her to see the world in colors and shapes and emotions that most people overlooked. He earned their trust the only way trust can be earned. One day at a time, one kept promise at a time, one disappointment-free interaction at a time. "Mom," Leo said one evening, about 6 months into Marcus's presence in their lives, "I think Dad should come to dinner sometime." Victoria nearly dropped the pot she was carrying. "Dinner? Like a family dinner, where we all eat together and talk about our days. We do that already. You, me, and Maya. But Dad is part of our family now too, right? He is our dad. That makes him family." "It is complicated, sweetheart. Adults always say that when they do not want to explain something. Just tell us the real reason." Victoria set down the pot and sat at the table across from her son. "The real reason is that your father and I have a lot of history. We were together once, and it ended badly. Having him here for dinner feels like pretending that history does not exist. But you are not pretending. You are just moving forward. That is what you always tell us when something bad happens. You cannot change the past, but you can choose what happens next. When did you get so wise?" "I have been 7 for 3 months now. That is basically almost 8. Victoria laughed, despite herself. "I will think about it." "That is what you always say when you mean you will do it, but you need time to get used to the idea." He was not wrong. The first family dinner was awkward. Victoria and Marcus sat at opposite ends of the table like diplomats at a peace negotiation, while Leo and Maya chatted happily in between, unaware of the tension in the air. But the second dinner was easier, and the third was almost normal. By the time a year had passed, Marcus was a regular presence at the table, helping with homework and dishes and all the mundane details of family life that Victoria had managed alone for so long. "You do not have to do the dishes," she said one evening as he stood at her sink, sleeves rolled up, hands in soapy water. "I want to. You cook, I clean. It is fair." Fair. That word from his mouth seemed strange given their history. "Is this what you expected?" Victoria asked. "When you wrote that letter, asking for a chance, is this what you imagined?" "Honestly, I did not let myself imagine anything. I was so convinced you would say no that I did not dare to hope. But this, being here with you and the kids, feeling like part of something real, it is more than I ever thought possible." Victoria leaned against the counter, watching him work. "I never thought I would see you doing dishes. I never thought I would want to do dishes. But it turns out that when you are doing them for people you love, they do not feel like chores. They feel like privileges." "Love?" The word hung between them. "I love them," Marcus said simply. "Leo and Maya. I love them more than I knew it was possible to love anyone. And I am grateful every day that you gave me the chance to know them." He did not say he loved her. He was careful about that. But something in his eyes suggested that the feeling was there, waiting, hoping for permission to exist. Victoria did not give that permission. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But she also did not tell him it was impossible. "The children are lucky to have you," she said finally. "You have become the father they deserved all along. And you are the mother I should have appreciated from the beginning. The woman I should have fought for instead of walking away from. We cannot change the past, Marcus. No, but we can choose what happens next." Her son's words echoed by the man who had once broken her heart. Victoria smiled, despite herself. "Yes, we can." The final chapter of their story did not involve grand gestures or dramatic declarations. It involved time. Patient, persistent, ordinary time. Marcus continued to show up, day after day, month after month, year after year. When Leo started his first real business at age 12, a lawn mowing service that he ran with military precision, Marcus helped him with the accounting and never once tried to take over. When Maya won her first major art competition at 14, Marcus was in the audience crying openly, making no attempt to hide his pride. When the children turned 16 and asked pointed questions about why their parents were not together, Victoria finally told them the full truth. About the restaurant, the rejection, the words that had wounded her so deeply. And Marcus sat beside her while she told it, admitting every mistake, taking full responsibility, showing their children what real accountability looked like. "I was wrong," he told them. "Everything I did back then was wrong. And your mother's anger was completely justified. She protected you because she was not sure I could be trusted. And at that time, I could not be. But you can now?" Leo asked. "That is for you and your mother to decide. I cannot declare myself trustworthy. I can only show you who I am now and let you make your own judgment." The children made their judgment. They forgave their father, not because he asked for it, but because he had earned it over years of consistent presence and unconditional love. Victoria's forgiveness came more slowly. She was older now, wiser, more secure in who she was and what she needed. The wounds Marcus had inflicted had healed into scars, still visible but no longer painful. One evening, sitting on her porch while the children studied inside, she said the words she had not planned to say. "I forgive you." Marcus looked at her in the darkness, surprised into silence. "I forgive you," she repeated. "Not because you asked for it, not because you earned it, but because holding on to the anger was hurting me more than it was hurting you. And I am tired of carrying that weight. Victoria, I do not know what to say. You do not have to say anything. Just keep being who you have become. Keep showing up. Keep loving our children. And you? Is there any possibility someday for something more than CEO parenting?" Victoria considered the question carefully. She had asked herself the same thing many times over the years. "I do not know," she said honestly. "I never thought I would forgive you. I never thought you would become someone worthy of forgiveness. So maybe the things I thought were impossible are actually possible after all. What would it take? More time. More proof that the man you are now is who you really are, not just a temporary version of yourself. More certainty that if I let myself love you again, you would not destroy me the way you did before. I will wait. I will prove myself. However long it takes. Do not wait for me, Marcus. Live your life. Keep being a good father. If something happens between us, it will happen. If it does not, we will still be family. We are already family. Yes, we are." They sat together in comfortable silence, watching the stars emerge above them. Two people who had hurt each other deeply, who had spent years apart, who had found their way back to something that felt like peace. If you believe in redemption, if you believe that people can change and families can heal, subscribe to this channel right now so you do not miss our next incredible story. The wedding happened 3 years later, small and intimate, in Victoria's grandmother's garden, with Leo and Maya as witnesses. Victoria wore a simple white dress that she had chosen herself, no designer labels, no society expectations. Marcus wore a suit that fit him like armor, protection against the man he used to be. Their vows were honest. "I was the worst version of myself when I met you," Marcus said. "And you loved me anyway. When I destroyed that love, you built a life without me that was more beautiful than anything I could have given you. You raised our children to be extraordinary. You became someone I admire more than anyone else in the world. I do not deserve your forgiveness, but I am grateful for it every day." "When you left," Victoria replied, "I thought my life was over, but you leaving forced me to become stronger than I knew I could be. The woman you walked away from could not have raised 2 remarkable children alone. She could not have become a judge. She could not have built a life worth living. So thank you for breaking my heart. It taught me how strong that heart could be. And thank you for coming back. It taught me that love is worth fighting for." The children cheered. The small gathering of family and friends celebrated. And somewhere in the universe, karma nodded with satisfaction. This is the story of a woman who was thrown away and rose from the ashes. A man who lost everything that mattered and spent years earning it back. And 2 children who taught their parents that forgiveness is not about forgetting the past, but about choosing the future. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear that it is never too late to fight for what matters. Leave a comment telling me what you thought of Victoria's journey and whether you would have forgiven Marcus. I read every single comment and I cannot wait to hear from you. This has been Billionaire Love Stories with Mr. Brad. Remember, the love that survives the fire is the love that lasts forever. Until next time.